How's this? Any good? Packed house, Soldier Field, Packers and Bears. Great way to start the season here in 2015. The Packers won the toss. They defer. The Bears get the football. And you remember, Troy, way back when you used to play, what it was like getting through the preseason, building up for this opening day, and just dying to start the season 1-0.
Absolutely. It's an exciting time for really every team in the league. Regardless of whatever took place in the offseason, you know, every team and really every fan base is optimistic that, hey, this is going to be the year for their team.
How optimistic are they here with the Chicago Bears? They've had a lot of change. I really feel like, and we'll get into this during the course of the game, but I think they've got the right head coach. They've got coordinators here who have made big changes. Gase seems like a good fit, the offensive coordinator. There's John Fox, 60-year-old. He's the third coach in the last 4 years for the Bears, but he has taken two different franchises to the Super Bowl. Most recently with Peyton Manning a couple of years ago in Super Bowl 48 when the Seahawks took care of the Broncos. And then there's this guy, Mike McCarthy, who's in his 10th year and who has taken the Packers to the postseason 6 straight years, and that ties the Patriots for the longest active streak. I mean, they start the year and they expect to be playing football into January.
Boy, it's amazing that this is his 10th season, and you know, one of the big adjustments for him this year, when you talk about how consistent everything has been with the Green Bay Packers, that he's given up play calling duties.
Get into that as well as we go through this game. Let's go down to the field and say hi to Erin Andrews.
Hi, and now I'm going to rain on your parade. You're talking about optimism for the first part of the season. Well, already in week 1, there's some uncertainty for the Bears offense. Troy mentioned in the beginning of the game Alshon Jeffrey. He was dealing with a strained calf throughout most of August. He did finally return to practice on a limited basis this week. Guys, I talked to him before the game. He says he does not know how his leg is going to hold up throughout this thing. The Bears have said he will be on a pitch count today. Another change, Kyle Long. Moving from guard and making his first career start at tackle. Everyone seems to think he'll do just fine there, even though Kyle told us he's lost a little bit of sleep because of the extra prep time. He did say the only thing that'll kind of be weird is hearing his name introduced as tackle today. Joe?
Yeah, he also said he's fired up. He said the difference between playing guard and tackle, and by the way, somebody went down on the field and needs a cart to get off. That's why we're delayed here at the beginning. The switch was made. Kyle Long's now at right tackle. And he said, you know, I like being in close quarters of being a guard. I like working with the center. I've got the tackle out to my right. He's been a Pro Bowler first 2 years. I mean, he's an incredible athlete. One of the best players in the league is young Kyle Long. But he said, I'd rather fight a guy in a hallway than in an auditorium. You get out there at tackle, Troy, and there's a lot of room for people to make moves on you. New world.
Yeah, when you're at guard, I mean, you can benefit from the other bodies that are around you. And it's like he said, it's a fist fight in a phone booth. And you move out to tackle, and you're dealing with a different kind of athlete than you are at the guard position. But as you called it, Kyle Long, he's an exceptional athlete himself. He's excited about the opportunity. We'll get a chance here to take a look and see how he does. His first start at tackle.
Nobody's busier, by the way, than Howie Long, who's back in the studio. He's got Kyle playing here. He's got Chris playing in St. Louis. Same time, Crosby kicks it away. And after all that, a touchback. So the Bears will start at the 20, and I started to go into it with regard to Adam Gase. We'll get back to it. 37-year-old, 2 years the offensive coordinator in Denver. And that's one of the reasons why changes continue to be made here in Chicago. Do you like the fit with Adam Gase coordinator and Jay Cutler at quarterback?
Well, I do. I like Adam Gase. You know, he's heavily influenced by the principles of Mike Martz, who also served as an offensive coordinator at one time for Jay Cutler. But there's been optimism each and every year that a new play caller has taken over.
See if Forte gets it to start the day. He does. And he'll pick up 2.5. Brought down by Mike Pinnell. We'll look at this offensive group. You see Kyle Long at right tackle. Vladimir Dukas is in right guard. Long got no reps during the preseason at tackle. The new center is Will Montgomery. And then you've got the backs and receivers, and their biggest weapon on the outside is Alshon Jeffrey. 2nd and 7.
180!
It's Forte again, ran into some bodies, gets to the edge. Forte with a big carry on second down. Clinton Dix on the stop, a gain of 22 for number 22.
You're going to see Forte initially, he wants to take it to the left side, and it gets bottled up, but the Packers, they're not containing that backside hole, and he turns what should have been a no gain into a very positive play.
When you talk to Adam Gase, he talks about the importance of getting to 3rd and 6 or less. A lot of this, pass caught. First year as a Bear, Eddie Royal. And the former Bronco and San Diego Charger is good for 8. Sam Shields on the stop, and here is the 3-4 defense put together by Dom Capers. And the focus is always on number 52. Clay Matthews, there's Micah Hyde getting the start for the injured Morgan Burnett out with a bad calf. Jaquiz Rogers has got a first down for Chicago. Former Falcon good for 4. Pinnell on the stop.
Well, they're going to utilize all the things that these backs can do. Jaquiz Rogers, who just joined the team. In fact, in talking with Jay Cutler, he made the comment that Jaquiz Rogers, he's not a real big guy. He's just 5'6" and 200 pounds, if that. But he's a much better inside runner than he probably gets credit for. And boy, he just kind of knifed his way in that defense to pick up the first down.
180!
Martellus Bennett, get him involved. The big tight end had 90 catches a year ago. And on first down, a gain of 7. Clay Matthews on the tackle.
Really nice execution right now by the Chicago Bears. They run the slip screen there to Martellus Bennett. That's one of the things that the Packers anticipated, knowing that Adam Gase likes the screen game and they expected it very early, but the Bears able to pick up a nice gain on first down.
We have yet to find Alshon Jeffrey out on the field. As Aaron Andrews said on a pitch count, they want him for the red zone.
Bear!
Play action from Cutler. In trouble and just gets rid of it. And a good job of Cutler to avoid the sack. Zach Miller, the intended target, pressure by Jaron Elliott.
Well, one of the things that offensive coordinator Adam Gase wants to incorporate more of is getting Jay Cutler outside the pocket. It's something he did a lot of in his early days in Denver. He likes it. He sees the field very well, but as Adam Gase said, it just hasn't been a big part of his offense, especially going back to Denver. You know, Peyton Manning wasn't the most mobile guy, so this is kind of new territory for Adam Gase.
They're down in 3. Alshon Jeffrey out there, the top of the formation. Over the middle, there he is. Jeffrey, welcome to the 2015 season. Takes it into the red zone, good for 25. And a first down on 3rd and 3.
Well, Alshon Jeffrey's going to come up and he's going to run the shallow crossing route. He's turned loose there in the zone coverage, but the linebackers don't anticipate it. Sam Barrington unable to come up and make a play as he comes across the middle of the field, and just wonder how that calf's going to hold up when you start to push off on it once you have the ball in your hands.
Cutler keeps it, looking for a block, and then takes a hit. On first down, he picks up 4. Barrington on the tackle for Green Bay, and now we'll see how these two, defense of the Packers and the offense of the Bears, handle the red zone.
I'm not sure that when Adam Gase said we're going to get Jay Cutler outside the pocket, I don't think that's what they had in mind. They'd like to see him go to the ground and not absorb those kinds of hits.
Quick snap, and that started too quick. Penalty flag, our first of the day. Craig Wallstad is our ref.
False start. Offense, number 62, was not set. Second down.
That's Dukas, the right guard. And Vladimir wasn't ready for the quick snap.
Yeah, Dukas just making his 12th start of his career. He had 6 starts last year for the Minnesota Vikings, but that really is the concern. We focus on Kyle Long making the transition to right tackle. The bigger concern is what happens then at the right guard position.
Second and 11. Cutler fires, completes, Forte out of bounds. Third down coming up, a gain of 6.
Well, Matt Forte's been an outstanding player for this organization ever since arriving here back in 2008, and they use him in a lot of different ways. He's an accomplished runner. He certainly can split out and catch the football. Over 100 receptions a year ago, and they like him out of the backfield and feel that they can take advantage of some things in this game, especially matched up with the linebackers for the Packers.
Alshon Jeffrey at the bottom of the screen on third down. Cutler is going to be sacked back at the 10. And the defense stiffens for Green Bay. It's B.J. Raji who missed all of last year right in the middle of it, and he was not alone. We'll take a look and see what Cutler was looking for.
Yeah, Cutler was working inside. Looked like it was Eddie Royal in the seam and didn't quite have it. He's trying to buy some time. As you see Alshon Jeffrey, you called it a little bit earlier, they're trying to utilize him down in this red zone, but he's going to attract a lot of attention. The Packers covered him up.
This is automatic for goal. 28-yarder for Robbie. And he has now made more field goals than anybody in the proud history of the Chicago Bears, and he has the first points of this game. Packers, Bears, 3-0. Chicago on top.
Game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
The Bears had only 3 opening drive scores all of last season, so they're on a better pace here in 2015. They get 3 points. Rookie Ty Montgomery's waiting for the kick, and he'll get a chance to return it. Good return. Good starting field position, just shy of the 40 for Aaron Rodgers and company. And the rookie Ty Montgomery from Stanford with a return of 42 as they look at Kyle Long on the Bears bench.
This game is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL.
First day on the edge for Kyle Long as Troy circles. You see the left index finger get bent back on that third down play moments ago. 3-0 Chicago starting at the 39, the Packers. Rodgers can't find anywhere to go, and he's brought down with a gain of 2. Jarvis Jenkins on the stop for Chicago. The numbers are big against the Chicago Bears. In particular last year, but 12-3 overall. Here's Lacy, left side. Plows ahead to the 46, picks up 5, third and short coming up. The rookie Amos on the stop for Chicago. The guy they feel like they lucked into out of the 5th round from Penn State. 3rd and 3.
The Green Bay Packers, they always like to play an up-tempo offense. I know in visiting with Aaron Rodgers, even more so in this game today. Remember, a lot of these starters have not played much because of preseason, hoping to gas this defense as quickly as possible.
Rodgers sideline, incomplete for Davante Adams. 3-0.
It's really an outstanding job by the Chicago Bears defense. They gave up great field position with the kickoff return. The Packers set up nicely in the middle of the field, and they force a 3-and-out. You don't see that very often against this Aaron Rodgers offense.
Well, the special teams were not good last year for Green Bay. Not just in the NFC Championship game, but all season long. Tim Mastay had 2 punts blocked. He struggled for much of the preseason here in 2015. What's it going to be? Mariani's waiting for it. It's over his head and into the end zone. So the Bears with a football. Rodgers with a towel. Chicago up 3.
This game is sponsored by the Lincoln Motor Company and the entirely new Lincoln MKX. By Samsung, introducing the new Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge Plus and the new Galaxy Note 5. And by DraftKings, free one-week fantasy football at DraftKings.com.
Jay Cutler started his season 4 for 5 for 44 yards. Up 3. A rookie Langford in there, and he will carry it and not get much, maybe a yard. Mike Neal was in there for Green Bay, and Langford is a guy they like out of Michigan State. Maybe the heir apparent to Matt Forte, who's in the final year of a 4-year, $30 million deal. 2nd and 9.
Go, go. 21. Cover.
Packers come with a blitz. Forte is there, makes the catch, and he's got a first down. With that, we send it to Kurt. Hi, Kurt. Happy New Year. Game break time.
Well, Happy New Year to you too, Joe. The Seahawks have gone a league-high 120 games without a punt return for a touchdown. So they draft Tyler Lockett in the 3rd round out of Kansas State. First time he touches it, boom, 57 yards, and they're up 7-0 at St. Louis. Joe, Troy, and Eric.
All right, Kurt, thank you. Seattle, obviously, popular pick in the NFC, along with these Packers. First down from the 30. Here's Forte. Nothing. We saw Kyle Long getting attention on the sideline. Here's Aaron. What's up?
That right ring finger taped heavily underneath that glove, Joe. Chicago's athletic training staff was trying to engage him in a conversation to find out how much pain he was in, if x-rays were needed. He didn't want any of it. He just wanted to find out what happened to the line when Jay Cutler got sacked. End of discussion, guys.
Not surprising.
That's all those offensive linemen care about. Yards rushing by the running back and sacks on the quarterback.
Bam.
Second down and 9. Cutler well protected. Incomplete. Troy, something subtle that's going on here with the Chicago Bears is this up-tempo, and Adam Gase wanting Cutler up on the line of scrimmage, getting the play out, and he thinks this gives Cutler a little more ownership of what's going on out there.
Yeah, and I like the rhythm in which the Bears are running their offense right now. They're not rushing, and we've seen them now hold the count. We saw him convert the pass to Matt Forte a moment ago, holding the count, making the defense declare, and then simplifying exactly what the reads are for Jay Cutler. He's getting good looks right now at this defense.
Now 3rd down and 9. Cutler is sacked. Ball is out. And Green Bay's got it. Julius Peppers on top of it. We'll see if he knocked it out. But it's another Jay Cutler turnover. No quarterback turned it over more last year. No quarterback fumbled it more. And Julius Peppers, the former Bear, makes another play for the Packers.
Yeah, Julius Peppers, he brings the rush off the edge, and you see Kyle Long, he just gets out of position, so he's got a shot at Jay Cutler. Pressure also on the opposite side with Jermont Bushrod, and Jay Cutler had nowhere to go.
The crowd just saw that on the replay, and we'll see if a knee or a forearm was down when that ball came out. Let's give it another look. It's a turnover play. That knee's down. And I think you can credit the sack, but I don't think the strip and the turnover will stand.
The previous play is under review.
Right now it's called a fumble, Green Bay's ball, but we'll get a review, and it sure looks like no fumble, but a punt coming instead.
After review, the ruling on the field has been reversed. The quarterback's knee was down when he was contacted by the defender. It will be 4th and 19 at the 21-yard line.
The right knee, as you see, it's on the ground. And, Joe, you go back to, Kyle Long making that transition there to right tackle, and you're facing a guy like Julius Peppers and then Clay Matthews, two of the really elite pass rushers. And we talked about it. It is different. And not having practice at that position in the preseason, just doing it really from time to time in practice, and then this week, you can't simulate when you're going up against a guy like Julius Peppers.
Pat O'Donnell punts it. It's a beauty. Hyde is driven out of bounds. That's as good as you can do. Big punt from O'Donnell of 56 yards and out of bounds, no return. Packers have it down 3. An overturned call saved the Bears 56 yards of field position. Good punt by Pat O'Donnell, and now second possession for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
Ready, go! Ready, go!
Rodgers has a man. It's the tight end, Richard Rodgers, out across the 40. A 20-yard completion to Richard Rodgers, as we will give you a look. And now the Packers are up on the line of scrimmage, getting ready to go. There's the offensive line. It's outstanding. Backs and receivers, no Jordy Nelson, but James Jones is back.
Ready, go!
Here's Lacy. Breaks one tackle. Can't break another. First guy there was Will Sutton, and then Christian Jones made the stop. And running Troy a 3-4. The question is, do the Bears have the personnel to play a 3-4?
Well, time will tell. They're asking a lot of guys to play positions that they haven't played before. However, in this game, because the Green Bay Packers are so much 3 and 4 wide receiver sets, they're not playing a base 3-4 defense. They're 4 down and they're rushing Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers is going to flip it. What a play! And a one-handed catch for Eddie Lacy. And Rodgers' reaction after the play was great. I mean, that is improv at its best.
That's unbelievable, and good coverage. You got Jared Allen, who, because of the scheme, he ends up coming off on Eddie Lacy, and Aaron Rodgers just pulls one out and flips it and perfectly lays it in there to him.
Brett Favre saying, announcers used to rip me for that stuff.
Only when they were intercepted.
Green 18!
Now Lacy. What a play that was. It leads to this big run by Eddie Lacy as he gets 16 yards brought down by McClellan.
It's really a nice job by Eddie Lacy. You're going to see the niftiness that he has for such a big man and being able to navigate the spaces and the quickness that he shows. It's really good. And in fact, Vic Fangio compared him to Marshawn Lynch. He said, a big guy who can dance, and he's very much like him. He has more moves than you would expect for a big back.
Nice pickup on first down by Lacy of 4, and we go back to Kurt Menefee with another game break.
Well, the Kansas City Chiefs didn't have a touchdown pass to a wide receiver at all last season. They still have it. Tight end Travis Kelce has caught his second of the day, and they're still in the first quarter. They're up 14-0 at Houston. Joe, Troy, and Aaron.
Kurt, thanks. James Starks now takes over in the backfield next to Rodgers. 2nd and 6.
There we go.
Quick throw. Rodgers again. And Richard is going to stretch. They'll mark him short of a first down. 3rd and inches coming up.
Well, we've talked about it, and a lot of people have, Joe. How do you overcome the loss of a guy like Jordy Nelson? And obviously the Packers still have some very accomplished players with Randall Cobb and then, of course, second-year player Devontae Adams.
First down carry by Aaron Rodgers.
But we just saw Richard Rodgers make that second down catch, and I think that's the one position that Aaron Rodgers is hopeful will emerge. I mean, since Jermichael Finley left, really the 2012 season was the last time they had a guy who could really make some plays or who has made plays. And he thinks maybe Richard Rodgers can fill that void for him.
Play action completely fakes out the defense, and then out of the back of the end zone for Adams. But let's get into the whole change from a year ago. And Mike McCarthy, who has handed off the play calling duties to Tom Clements. This is a new feel for McCarthy on the sideline.
Well, it sure is, and I've always talked about it. I think Mike McCarthy has been one of the best play callers in all of football, and I guess a couple of years ago he talked about giving up the play calling duties to Joe Philbin, but then when he left for Miami, he continued to call the plays and just felt that it was time. And I think Aaron Rodgers is excited about that change because of the close relationship that he and Clements have.
Quick throw, Adams, his first catch. And Devontae on 2nd down and 10 gets 7.
You know, as a head coach, when you're also the play caller, you're not able to make all those offensive meetings. You're not always in there when the installation is taking place early in the week. And Tom Clements, he is in those meetings. So as the play caller, to always be in the room with the quarterback, that I can tell you, there's some comfort in that. I think that's the part of it that Aaron Rodgers has enjoyed.
3rd down and 3. End zone. Jones. He's got it for the touchdown. Back in a Green Bay uniform after a year spent in Oakland. He popped loose on the free agent market. They bring him back, and what a catch. A juggle, both feet down, and he maintained control. Packers take the lead.
Well, here's the route by James Jones. It's really good coverage by Alan Ball. Hard to figure out how that ball got in there, but James Jones, you see, he really has to catch it with just the left arm, and he's able to do it. He gave himself enough room to be able to get his feet down in bounds, and it's a heck of a play.
Now the longer extra point, new for the 2015 season. 7-3 Green Bay. They take the lead as Rodgers on the drive, 5 of 6, has another touchdown pass on the resume. Mike McCarthy's Packers on top now 7-3. And a new chapter in this rivalry. Earlier in the week at a banquet, Mike.
And we will proudly stand as the 95th team in the history of the Green Bay Packers when we kick Chicago's ass.
John Fox, his counterpart on the other sideline, had absolutely no problem with it. He's trying to fire up the fan base. I love it.
Well, I do too. And look, John Fox said, hey, I saw the tape from last year.
He should say that. Yeah, I mean, that stuff, you know, you can't say anything in today's world without everybody freaking out. And if you are wondering, with our time spent at the Bears facility, if that was even brought up or a topic of conversation, nobody paid any attention to it with the Bears. Nobody cared.
It's a nothing deal, and the teams know that. It's all part of it. And yeah, I was, I guess, not surprised. Everything becomes a big deal anymore, but I thought it was nothing.
Good drive.
Now the catch was something. James Jones, and I've said many times, I think that a receiving core is only as good as their third guy. And you lose Jordy Nelson, and to bring James Jones back, to even have him available, I was surprised by that. But this quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, has a comfort level with him, and the guy's made some big plays in some big games, and he just made another one here in the season opener.
Bears down by 4 will start at the 20. The most unique voice in sports is back on the air. The one and only Colin Cowherd is now on FS1. The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays at noon Eastern only on FS1. You were the first guest. You're like the Bill Murray to David Letterman.
I was the first guest on the couch. I'm a big fan of Colin's. I'm glad I was a big fan when he was with that other network. I'm a bigger fan now that he's within our family.
Glad he's on our side. Here's James Jones.
Yeah, this was really good. Like I said, Alan Ball, he actually is playing it pretty good. You know, he gets turned around, he tries to make a play on the ball, he's unable to locate it, one arm, and James Jones is able to haul that in. And like I said, the guy's in game shape. He played a lot in the preseason, and he didn't have to learn much. He already knew the offense. He had some good years here with the Packers.
So now playing from behind. Forte left side. Good play made. And it was linebacker Nate Palmer who came up to make the hit. Gain of 1.
Well, I think running the football is going to prove challenging. It has so far for the Chicago Bears, because what we're seeing consistently by the Packers is they're putting an extra defender up there, and they're just going to say, we're not going to let you beat us running the football. And so you're going to get the one-on-one matchups outside, and if they continue with that, then Jay Cutler's going to have to beat them throwing the football.
Well, that'll do it for quarter number 1. Good start for Cutler in this Bears offense, but then Aaron Rodgers, they did their thing. And a touchdown to an old friend, James Jones. 7-3. Green Bay on top. Back after this from your local Fox station. Virginia McCaskey enjoying this beautiful day in Chicago with the commissioner Roger Goodell to her left, our right. Had a chance to visit with him before today's game. Here's Forte on second down and 9. He's able to cross the 25. I found the commissioner, despite all the noise and everything that's gone on with Deflategate and court issues and everything else, relieved to start the regular season, to get back to football. And I thought he was in a much better mood and very loose, much better than I expected.
Yeah, more than you expect. I think he was very relaxed. I think it's like you said, Joe. I think he's just glad that football is finally here. Not that a lot of things still aren't being discussed, but at least for the fans, we can just focus on the game.
Third down and 4. Alshon Jeffrey at the bottom of the screen and tossed to Forte, running right. And he's got a first down to the 35. Gain of 9 on third down.
Well, Kyle Long does an excellent job. As you're going to see, he comes out there, number 75. He kicks out on Clinton Dix and is able to open up a lane for that first down run.
Forte's busy. And at the age of 29 can still do it. Good for 6. How about a Johnny football update? Here's Kurt.
Well, in Cleveland, Josh McCown knocked out of the game with a concussion, so in comes Johnny Manziel. 54-yard touchdown, his first as a pro. They lead 7-0 against the Jets. Joe?
Kurt, thanks. We had a flag here prior to his second down play.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 53. 5-yard penalty. First down.
First down by penalty, and Nick Perry is flagged for the neutral zone infraction.
He just gets into the neutral zone and unable to get back, and the officials catch that, so they pick up 5 yards there on the play.
And a first down. Alshon Jeffrey up at the top. Here's a handoff to Forte. Patient. He let that play develop, and he picks up 8.
On this possession here, the Bears have been able to get the running game going, even, as I said earlier, with the Packers committing the extra defender down in the box.
Bear, bear, bear! Sam, where's Sam? Hey, where's Sam? Sam, where's the Sam? Hey, 51 to Sam! Poke him!
Second and 2. Pass incomplete for Jacquizz Rodgers. Good coverage by Palmer. Third down.
You know, what I spoke about earlier, Joe, is the job that Jay Cutler's doing at the line of scrimmage. And yeah, it's no huddle, but there's no rush. And so he's able to get at the line of scrimmage. We've seen now a couple times, even the last play, Clinton Dix, he's coming down like he's going to be the extra guy. They're trying to give different looks now because Cutler has been so patient at the line and trying to determine exactly what this defense is doing. And he is getting some really good looks when he holds his count. Third down and 2. Pass caught. Bennett, first down.
I don't know if people realize that this guy, 83, caught 90 passes a year ago, led all NFL tight ends. He signed beyond this year, but at some point, Martellus Bennett's going to cash in.
He's really come into his own. You know, he started his career with the Cowboys. There were always high expectations. However, he was playing behind Jason Witten. He went to the Giants, had some good seasons there, and then, of course, he's found a home in Chicago and had an outstanding Pro Bowl year last season.
Now it's Daniels coming across.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
In the sense here in this stadium, fans are feeling a little more optimistic as this first half unfolds.
Yeah, well, they're moving the ball and they're doing some nice things. You know, I mean, this offense was not good last year, and as long as this offense is on the field, then the old number 12 for the Packers is on the sidelines, and that's exactly where the Bears want him.
Focus, focus, focus. No, I got it.
1st and 5, left side, Forte goes right through Shields, and into the red zone he goes.
There's the rotation that I was talking about at the safety level. Looks like he's going to come down instead. He rotates here. They bring the extra guy up to the right side of the offense. They run the ball opposite, so no edge support, even though they've got the extra defender to play the run. Right now, Jay Cutler is getting this offense into some really good plays, and it's showing.
Play clock, play clock.
They have to use a timeout. They have consistently run to the opposite side of where Alshon Jeffrey is lined up. But you can see here early that the presence of Adam Gase, who's there in the foreground talking with Jay Cutler, this is a different look right now, and I like that you like what Jay Cutler is allowed to do at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it's a lot like what Peyton Manning was able to do, and I think initially Jay Cutler was a little uncomfortable with it all, you know, in terms of being at the line and making all the calls, and you know, it just was unnatural. But as the offseason went along and training camp went along, he's gotten more and more comfortable with it. I'll tell you, he looks good right now, and they have been able to do some things, even though Dom Capers is calling some good defenses in terms of trying to slow down Matt Forte running the football. But right now, Jay Cutler's just been one step ahead.
Balanced attack so far. First down, Chicago down 4. End zone. Jeffrey broken up. The Pro Bowler Sam Shields was there and got his right hand in the way. Good work.
Yeah, that's the one-on-one look that they've been getting throughout the game. And you know, Alshon Jeffrey, as we've talked about, he's banged up. You see a little bit of there, but excellent coverage by Sam Shields. He goes up and is able to get his hand on that ball, and that's a tough assignment against a guy like Alshon Jeffrey, who is very gifted in being able to go up and make plays on the ball.
He's also 6'3", Shields 5'11". On second down, Forte got the edge, and Matthews made the play. That was a touchdown until Clay Matthews showed his speed. What a play.
Well, you're going to see where he came from. I mean, it's remarkable how he's able to run this down from the backside. They run away from him. They get the nice block there by Alshon Jeffrey, and the only guy then to make the play is the backside, and you wouldn't expect Clay Matthews to be able to come up and get Matt Forte from the backside.
Wow. Touchdown saving tackle there. 3rd and 4. Cutler. Forte out of bounds. Made the catch working against Nate Palmer, but he was out of bounds. It's 4th down.
He's just unable to get that left foot down, and we've seen a lot of Matt Forte, and Adam Gase talked about his versatility and said we're going to put him in every position possible and utilize the things that he does. In fact, he said, I'm going to use Matt Forte the way I used Wes Welker there in Denver. He's in the slot position. They get one-on-one on a linebacker, just unable to get his feet down. So the Bears have done a nice job now moving the ball and getting close, but they've just been unable to finish a drive and having to settle for another field goal attempt.
27-yard try, Gold. And there's a flag on the play.
And that's on the Packers, Joe.
And that would be a first down. Shields, he jumped across. It was 4th and 4.
Offside. Defense, number 33. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
They said 33. It was 37. Sam Shields.
Yeah, and you saw Sam Shields, as soon as he came off and knew he might be early, he checks to see if the flag was thrown, and he's trying to get there to make a play. But we've seen now a few times that the Bears have been able to call them offsides.
This is the ball at the 5.5-yard line.
Well, that's a huge penalty. There's really no excuse for that by Sam Shields. He's looking in. He's
4.5-yard line.
Looking at the ball.
4.5 a yard.
A little over aggressive, and it's costly.
Well, it's not completely costly yet. They moved the ball, and you could hear Craig Wallstead saying it's half a yard shy. So it's 4th down, less than a yard, and by even it looks like less than half a yard, the Bears are going to go for it.
51.
See how costly that penalty is. Forte, right side, he's got it. Big penalty against Sam Shields, and Forte, he made that first down happen.
They sure did. This offensive line is really doing a nice job on this possession. You're going to see the movement, but Clay Matthews is able to come up. He gets first contact, not able to make a play before Forte puts his head down and picks up the first down. And just a big penalty that allowed the Bears to go for it on 4th and short.
They're going to bring the sticks out. And he's got it by the nose of the football. That really wasn't a very favorable spot, but they still get it. It'll bring up 1st and goal for Jay Cutler. And after a couple of red zone stops by Mike McCarthy's defense, a penalty on Sam Shields. And in that case, that's shorter than what's now an extra point. Shields is coming across trying to block a rather routine field goal by Robbie Gould. Not worth the risk. And now here they are, the Bears with a chance to take the lead. Alshon Jeffrey at the bottom. Pass is dropped by Forte. And he could have just backed into the end zone. Instead, he couldn't make the catch. Wasn't the greatest throw, but Forte just dropped it.
Well, they motioned Forte out of the backfield. They got one-on-one on the linebacker. I mean, they got everything they wanted right there, and Matt Forte just unable to make the catch. We've seen, that was Nate Palmer who was in coverage. We've seen them split Forte out, and for the most part, he has been matched up on the linebackers. That's very favorable for the Bears.
Timeout defense. First timeout taken by Green Bay. 2nd and goal when we come back. We're going to come back so fast you're not going to even know we left. Well, let's take a look at that last play. You can see John Fox and the energy and the pep he brings. Different look than a year ago. And this was one that I'm sure Adam Gase is over there kicking himself that they didn't get it.
Well, and Jay Cutler is as well. I mean, as soon as he motions out, and then you got Nate Palmer who works out to cover him, you know as a quarterback exactly where you're going with the football. But right now, I think on this possession anyway, Joe, this offensive line, I mean, there were a lot of question marks coming into this game. You know, throughout the preseason, it was an offensive line that had struggled. That's what necessitated the move for Kyle Long to move out to right tackle. But they have done a nice job protecting Jay Cutler. Of course, the ball's coming out quick, but more importantly, they've been able to do some things within the running game that they were hoping to do when the game began.
52! Bear, Poker!
Second and goal, Cutler. Penalty flag flies. Pass is caught. There are flags all over the place. It's a touchdown for Jeffrey, but it certainly looked like a hold back there around Cutler, and then another flag in the end zone.
Yeah, Clay Matthews is calling it. I think Jermon Bushrod is the guy they're going to get who held Clay Matthews.
There are 2 fouls on the play, 1 on each team. Holding, offense, number 74. Before the pass, holding, defense, number 37. Those penalties offset. Replay, second down.
That's Shields again on the Green Bay side.
Yeah, well, here's Jermon Bushrod, and he's doing the best he can against Clay Matthews. And then on the other end, after that flag was thrown, the grab by Sam Shields.
So we just replay it, second and goal.
Bear!
Forte stopped short. And from inside the 1, it'll be third and goal. Extra offensive lineman Charles Leno Jr. is in there. And Adam Gase and Jay Cutler will try and find their way into the end zone for the first time this season. Forte, touchdown!
Got the tight ends right here, Martellus Bennett and Zach Miller. They come off, and they're really the ones who make it happen. You get Martellus Bennett, who secures the edge, the kick out by Zach Miller, and that's an excellent job. They were aided by the penalty, of course, by Sam Shields, that allowed them to convert on fourth down, but an excellent job inside the 5, converting and coming away with the touchdown.
Field goal drive was 5.5 minutes. This pass drive was just under 8. So the Bears offense has been doing what you talked about. They've kept Aaron Rodgers on the sideline for Green Bay, and Chicago out in front. Time of possession now, Green Bay trailing 15:56 to 6:15 here in the first half. Maybe a new head coach. Maybe a new offensive coordinator, but like regimes of the past, it's a lot of Matt Forte. (10-7), and at the moment, some hope here in Chicago in this rivalry. Big penalty on that man, Sam Shields, and Forte, and the Bears take advantage up 3.
This game on Fox is sponsored by Chevrolet. Find new roads. By DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Black Mass from Warner Brothers Pictures. In theaters everywhere September 18th.
There are a lot of great guys in the NFL, and Matt Forte is one of them. His foundation hosted its inaugural back-to-school kicks and backpack giveaway. September 5th here in Chicago. Matt provided more than 200 kids with backpacks, school supplies, sneakers, and other clothing items in preparation for back to school. He got back into the end zone as the Bears take the lead again. Ty Montgomery takes a knee, and the drive will start at the 20. Forte, you see a lot of number 22 when you watch the Bears play football, celebrating the go-ahead touchdown. Bears up 3. Under 8 to go first half, and this is only the 3rd time the Packers have possessed the football.
Well, it's gone as well as the Bears could have hoped. I mean, this is how they drew it up and hoped that they would be able to keep the Packers on the sidelines and the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hand. And as you can tell, they've been able to control the clock.
Cobb in the slot. He has yet to be a target for Aaron Rodgers so far. Toss to Lacy, left side, cuts back, and then takes a Bear for a ride. That was McClellan, who in the Bears defense now, this 3-4, he's playing his third different position over the last 3 years.
Yeah, Vic Fangio, when he took over as a defensive coordinator, he brought the 3-4 scheme with him, and Shea McClellan, who's bounced around. He was a defensive end when he was a first-round pick. He played outside linebacker. Now he's learned another position inside. Vic Fangio thought that that's where he would be best for this scheme, and he thinks he's only going to get better.
This one in the air and incomplete. Jarvis Jenkins got the big arm up and hit that ball as it left the hand of Aaron Rodgers, 3rd and 3.
A good job of recognizing that he's not going to be able to get to Rodgers, and once he sees that, he gets his hand up and he's able to tip the ball, and the Packers are fortunate. Those things happen, and a lot of bodies in there with a chance to make a play.
Third down and 3. Pass is caught. Where will they mark it? That's Jones. And they are going to give him a first down. How about that catch?
That's an excellent catch. I was not certain if he was able to pick up the first down. They spotted he obviously does, but just an excellent job. There's 2 big catches now that he's made. One for the touchdown and then one to keep this drive alive.
He had a career high in catches last year for the Raiders, but they let him go. It was with the Giants in the preseason. First catch, Cobb. He's got a sprained AC joint in his right shoulder he suffered during the preseason.
Yeah, he gets up, he's holding it a little bit too, Joe. And Aaron talked about it. He says, hey, I can't throw him a high ball. I've got to protect him. But, he throws him a good ball, but he's in the middle of a lot of defenders, and he takes the blow. And he sure got up, nursing it a little bit.
319!
Now the Bears come across. Rodgers giving it a shot. He's got Jones inside the 35.
Excellent job of Aaron Rodgers knowing that he had a free play. He knew he had drawn the Bears offsides. He held it wanting to see who's getting down the field. It was James Jones. Not bad coverage, but he knows he's got a free play, so let her rip and makes a nice catch
number 97.
again.
That penalty's declined. The result of the play is a first down.
And there's ball again. And James Jones makes the catch. It's good for 34 yards. And a guy who caught 73 balls last year for Oakland is happy to be back.
Well, he was in camp with Eli, and I'm sure Eli's watching this game saying, we let that guy go?
Yeah, no kidding. They play tonight in Arlington against the Cowboys. Wide open, Davante Adams. Makes a man miss. He's down inside the 15 as he went right around Kyle Fuller. A gain of 21.
Expecting a big year out of Davante Adams, who really came on last year. The huge game in the divisional playoff win against the Cowboys. Makes a man miss, but Aaron Rodgers was saying, hey, I expected Davante Adams to be a big part of what we're doing and have a great year this year, as it was. But now that Jordy's down, he moves up in the rankings. He's really expecting him to have a heck of a season.
Here's Lacy. There's an arrogance to Aaron Rodgers, and it's the best possible arrogance that a quarterback or somebody in this league can have. He knows he's better than the guys he's facing. He believes his receivers are better than the guys covering him. He doesn't panic, and you can see it all over his face and in his body language. He believes this Green Bay Packer team should run it up the field against Chicago.
As a 2-time league MVP, he's been running the same offense. He knows it as well as anybody even on that staff. You give him some time, he's going to make you pay.
Push it. Ready, go.
And he doesn't turn it over. Penalty flag. Pass is caught for the touchdown, James Jones. But a flag is down, and it's against Green Bay. Jones is putting on a show, but it won't count.
Holding. Offense, number 69. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
It's Bakhtiari, the left tackle.
David Bakhtiari, who actually was in a great position. He does an excellent job, here in protection against Jared Allen. But as soon as Aaron Rodgers then splits out or takes off to his left, Jared Allen tries to get away, and that's when the grab occurred. And this is what was eliminated, and another excellent job by James Jones of hauling that ball in.
For the moment, James Jones looks like the best receiver in the history of the NFL. Second and 17. Here's Lacy. One way it didn't work, neither does that. Amos there for the Bears, a loss of 2.
You look at Amos there, he's their 5th-round pick, Adrian Amos, and boy, they can't say enough good things about him as a 5th-round pick.
I believe the Bears got a timeout called in time. They could not make substitution.
Timeout, Chicago.
And without that, it would have been a 5-yard penalty and a free play. Bears have 1 timeout remaining. Week 1 continues later today on CBS. And then tonight with Sunday Night Football on NBC. And that matchup of the Giants and the Cowboys. Tomorrow, Monday Night Football, a doubleheader. Eagles and the Falcons, Vikings and the 49ers. And of those 4 teams, Eagles, Falcons, Vikings, 49ers, who jumps out at you?
I like the Eagles. I like what I've seen of them. We'll go back here and take a look. And Aaron Rodgers was really upset once the timeout was called. He saw that they were trying to substitute. He thought he got the play off. Comes over after the fact, and he's talking to the official and having words with him. And John Fox wasn't too happy with the official either. So he was getting it from both sides.
Third down and 19 now. Penalty flag. This is against Green Bay. And Rodgers is going to step out of bounds. There was a hold. It looked like Bulaga. And they'll take the penalty and march him back even further.
Holding. Offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty. Replay. Third down.
They get Brian Bulaga against Pernell McPhee is who they say he was holding. The Bears, they dropped about 7 guys to the goal line knowing it was 3rd and long, and Aaron Rodgers gets it inside the 5. He was trying to say that he had gotten the Bears offsides. You see the movement there by Jared Allen. But instead they get Brian Bulaga with a hold.
This is going to move the ball all the way back to the 29. Be a 47-yard field goal from this spot if they don't get anything.
Well, I think Aaron Rodgers, you'd like to score a touchdown, but if nothing else, complete something underneath and try to make this a shorter field goal attempt.
4 wide receiver set. They do go underneath. It's Cobb inside the 20, but it's 4th down. So a smart play by number 12. And with Mason Crosby, who had 3 field goals blocked last year and 2 extra points, leading to a change in the special teams coordinator. Now it's Ron Zook, who was the assistant last year, former head coach at Florida and Illinois. He's in charge now, and this from 37. Well done, tie game. First-year head coach with the Bears, John Fox, pumping up his troops. Frustration for Mike McCarthy in his 10th season. We're tied at 10.
Today's Game on Fox is sponsored by FanDuel, the leader in one-week fantasy football.
two teams don't usually disappoint when they go head-to-head. Last year, it was disappointment for Chicago in games that were dominated by Green Bay, 93-31, the two games combined. 10-10 here, Mariani on the return, just past the 20. One timeout left for the Bears, 2:25 on the clock, tied at 10. The quote by our friend and the beloved Mike Ditka. The oldest rivalry in the National Football League, and it's been a good one to watch here today. 10-10, 2:25 left, one timeout for Ditka's Bears. Cutler is going to pull it down and pick up 4. Let's go down to Aaron Andrews.
Just an update for Green Bay's defense, guys. Sam Barrington questionable with an ankle injury.
Starting inside linebacker. They've got a lot of bodies they can move around at that level for Dom Capers' defense. So his return is questionable, not out there. And we'll see if Chicago snaps it before the 2-minute warning. They do not. 10-10 in Chicago at Soldier Field. 2 minutes left, first half. Follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. 2 minutes left here in the first half. Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator for the Bears, has done a good job so far, slowing down Aaron Rodgers. Penalties have really hurt Green Bay.
You got 33. Apple, super.
Second and 6, Forte gets it. Cuts back, third down coming up. And Forte gets a nice pop at the end of that play, a gain of 3. Saturday, a full day of college football across the Fox network, starting with Tulsa and 19th ranked Oklahoma on FS1, followed by UTSA and Oklahoma State, and then Cal and Texas on Fox. The nightcap, BYU squares off against 13th ranked UCLA. Troy's Bruins back on FS1. It's all Saturday on your home for college football, Fox and Fox Sports 1. Well, after we got the report about Sam Barrington, now Nate Palmer is slow to get up. We talked about the hit at the end, and it wasn't Forte who got it. It was Peppers that lowered the shoulder into his teammate, Nate Palmer.
It really is something when you think about the Packers over the years, the number of injuries they've had at the linebacker position, particularly at the inside linebacker position. Now they've got two guys, Sam Barrington, Nate Palmer go down, and Dom Capers over the years has just had to constantly revamp that inside linebacker position because of injuries, and not a good start in that regard for the Packers defense.
Green Bay had to take a timeout because they want Palmer on the field. So he does not come out. 3rd and 3. Forte, first down, out across the 35.
Dom Capers has got to be wondering exactly what he has to do in terms of being the defensive play caller. He's put this defense in good positions, but Jermon Bushrod, the left tackle, he comes out, gets a nice block on the support man defensively, and it allows the Bears to pick up the first down.
Under a minute and a half to go. Forte again. Hops out of bounds near the 42. Mike Hill is standing by with a game break. Mike, all yours.
All right, guys, Carolina, Jacksonville, no Kelvin Benjamin from Cam Newton. Who's he going to these days at wide receiver? Maybe it's Jericho Cotchery, 7-yard touchdown pass. Panthers up 10-3. Joe, Troy, back to you.
All right, thank you, Mike. Here at 10-10. Forte already 18 touches, 118 yards in this game. Blitz. Bears pick it up. Cutler. Pass is incomplete. That was Eddie Royal.
Well, I've been impressed what I've seen. I would see Eddie Royal, who he's a little slow to get up. Talked about him having a hip injury in preseason. Has missed a couple of weeks, and now he's on the ground and have to determine what his status is. Of course, Alshon Jeffrey is limited as well as Eddie Royal walks off the field. None too happy, but look at this offense by the Chicago Bears and what they were able to do in the preseason. Very patient, Jay Cutler was, in terms of what he did and not trying to force throws. He hasn't done that today either. A lot of underneath throws, high percentage passes, and just trying to stay in third and manageable situations, and here they are again in third and medium.
There are new safety precautions put in, and you could see the officials on the field did a really good job of noticing that hit caught Eddie Royal high. Let's watch it. And they immediately called for somebody to come out from the sideline. See Eddie land on his head, and now as he's a little slow to get up, instead of having to be buzzed by an ATC, that's what they call them, observer from up above who can stop the game. You can see the head bore the brunt of that hit on the grass here at Soldier Field. They brought the medical team out. The Bears have to use their final timeout. And now they're faced with 3rd and 5. Cutler trying to step through trouble. And able to pick up the first down. Good run by Jay Cutler as he broke tackles for a gain of 12.
Well, we all know how athletic Jay Cutler is, and he can certainly move. But what I like is right here, if he keeps running to the sideline or goes down, he will not pick up the first down. Instead, he does what you have to do if you're going to keep this drive alive to get the first down, and he does it without still having to absorb a big hit. Just a really nice job on his part.
Now on the Green Bay side with 50.
The Bears have been awfully good on 3rd down here in this first half. I know Adam Gase, offensive coordinator, he's pleased with that. He's got them in 3rd and medium, 3rd and short, and they've done a good job converting.
Cutler. Incomplete. Alshon Jeffrey, the intended target.
You keep thinking about if Alshon Jeffrey was healthy and really able to go, would they be taking a few more shots? Because they have, throughout this first half, gotten the one-on-one looks with their receivers, but they haven't tried to get anything down the field. Certainly haven't tried forcing anything down the field. A lot of the underneath intermediate throws.
They also lost Kevin White, 7th overall pick at this past draft. Big body in West Virginia. Here's Forte. To the 41. 3rd down coming up.
Well, that's a great example there. Even with under a minute to play in this half, with no timeouts remaining, Adam Gase calls the running play to Matt Forte so that they'll be looking at 3rd and 4 instead of potentially 3rd and long.
Caught for a first down, but now the Bears have to get up and spike it. That's Marquise Wilson, his first catch. Under 25 to go. 18 seconds left in the half. Coming up at halftime, it's the Visa Halftime Report. Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy will be along with scores and highlights. Talk about Rex's first reps in Buffalo. They're taking on the Colts. Foles is now the Rams quarterback, traded from Philadelphia. Sam Bradford going the other way. And Johnny Manziel has his first NFL touchdown pass for the Cleveland Browns, playing at the Jets, and it's another long drive for the Chicago Bears. 11th play here.
Yeah, pretty methodical drive.
It'll be a 50-yard field goal try from here. Jeffrey is overthrown.
Jay Cutler's going to have to be real smart here with 13 seconds left.
They're not going to mess around with it anymore. They're going to try it with Robbie Gould right now. It's only 3rd down You could make the case of,
if that clock's running, you have a hard time getting it clocked and getting your field goal team out on the field. You know, on second down there, I thought maybe they'd try something to shorten up this field goal attempt. Instead, they tried taking one shot down the field for the touchdown. Didn't leave them many options then.
50-yard try, Robbie Gould. Perfect again. 3 for 3. And the Bears lead by 3. And I guess why not? If you trust your kicker, as they do with good reason, Robbie Gould, easily from 50 yards, don't mess around with the clock anymore and try and take the lead, which they do.
This first half has gone as well as the Bears could hope. You know, I mean, you bring in a new staff, a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, and especially offensively, and trying to get Jay Cutler going, and good things have happened. And it's important to have some early successes when you're going through these types of transitions as an organization, and well, they sure have. I mean, the way that they had hoped it would go, that's the way that it has gone here in the first 30 minutes.
Adam Gase, the offensive coordinator, talked about with us on Friday that he has to be the one in charge of rebuilding Jay Cutler. He's taken a lot of hits. He's taken on a lot of criticism from fans, from media. And it was up to him to give him ownership of this offense, to re-engage him. And he looks, you can go nuts about going overboard with one half of play, but Gase believes in him, and he believes that he can help reinvent Jay Cutler, and it's been a good first half.
Well, it has, and he's executed the offense. He's executed it the way that his offensive coordinator wants it executed, and he's shown great patience, and then has made plays when they've been there.
This is a live ball, and the rookie fullback, Aaron Ripkowski, able to get on top of it. Will have one snap, and then goodbye. The defense for the Bears, Troy. Vic Fangio, he gets some credit here. He's gone 4-0 the last few years, while with San Francisco, different personnel against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. But he's got Green Bay bogged down so far, and it'll be interesting to see with the new guys in charge of the Packers offense, Tom Clements now calling the plays instead of Mike McCarthy, what adjustments they make at halftime.
Well, and remember, this was the least amount of playing time that Aaron Rodgers has had in the preseason, and so you haven't played the last couple of weeks. You're trying to get it going. You start to do some good things, but then you have a penalty, you fail to punch it in, and then you spend the rest of the time over on the sidelines. They just haven't really had a chance to get it going.
It's a 3-point lead for the Bears at the half. A good start with new coaches here at Soldier Field. Kurt Menefee, Visa Halftime, it's all yours. Today's excitement is brought to you by Nissan. What a catch. Jones for the touchdown. Some hope here in Chicago in this rivalry. And now we get set for the start of the second half. Green Bay will start this half with the football. Welcome inside the booth. I'm Joe Buck along with the Hall of Famer Troy Aikman. Green Bay didn't have the football much in the first half. Really 3 possessions, impressive half for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I think if you look at Jay Cutler and what he's done, I mean, not impressive numbers. I mean, less than 100 yards passing. I don't think he completed 50% of his balls, but they've converted on third down. Like I said, they were third and medium, third and short. Offensive line was a bit of a question mark coming in because of what all had happened in the preseason. They've really done an outstanding job. Dom Capers knows the Bears want to give the ball to Matt Forte. He's calling the defenses to stop him. They've just been unable to do it. So as a result of them being able to run the ball and control the clock, they've kept Aaron Rodgers and that offense off the field. Because when Aaron's had the ball, they've moved it. They came away with 10 points on really just 3 possessions.
Penalties have been killer for Green Bay. 3 defensive offsides on that touchdown drive by Chicago, and then a big hold on the offense that took a touchdown away. And Robbie Gould will kick it away. Montgomery from the end zone. Ty Montgomery. Gould is there to force him out of bounds. So The kicker saves an even bigger return as it is. It's 40+. Let's go down to Erin Andrews.
Joe, thanks. Let's start with the Bears first. I guess the biggest news was Eddie Royal, who just ran out of the locker room. I see him talking to the athletic trainers right now, but from what we know, if he doesn't pass concussion protocol, he can't come back out here on the field. I'll give you an update on that later. I did talk to Mike McCarthy, though, coming out of the locker room, and he said these penalties are inexcusable. He is not happy with his team about those, and he let them know. He also said, guys, we came here to stop Matt Forte, and so far that's not happening.
Forte has been busy. Right now the focus on Aaron Rodgers and the Packers offense. Play action. Rodgers squirts out of trouble and now flips it. He's got Rodgers, and the tight end is upended with a Green Bay first down. Not sure that was the designed play, but a gain of 11 to start the half.
Oh, he's getting pretty good at that flip completion, and I think Vic Fangio is doing a good job in terms of disguising the looks, and so he's changing it up at the snap. Bears have been able to get a little pressure on Rodgers, but if you don't secure those running lanes, as you can see, he can buy some time and get a nice gain out of that.
This is Rodgers again. More conventional way, no flag at the end of the play. A gain of just 2. Antrel Roll, who's a veteran safety in the NFL, playing with Arizona and the Giants, 3-time Pro Bowler, is there for the stop for Chicago.
You see the hit come in late. It looked like it was late, but in fact Richard Rodgers was still in the field of play, and that's why there was no flag.
Where do you go?
Hand off to Lacy. Lacy bouncing it. And working hard to get it to the 31. A 15-yard carry. Antrel Roll on the stop, and Eddie Lacy impressive there.
He's such a great back, and what he has given this offense since he was drafted in the first round. You remember there was a number of years there where they just really struggled to run the football, and they went out and they got Eddie Lacy, and it has really changed the dynamic of this offense. Certainly things are still built around Aaron Rodgers, but for him to be able to hand the ball off, pick up runs like that, it's a real luxury.
Rodgers, sideline, Adams, catch is made, and good, inside the 10. Working on Kyle Fuller, and Davante Adams able to secure it and get both feet in. Crowd sees it on the board here. Looked like he tapped that right knee down.
It looked like it was a catch to me, Joe. Take another look. The right knee is in, the left toe is down. That's a catch, and there's just no way to stop it. I mean, Kyle Fuller had great coverage. There was good coverage across the board. Aaron throws the back shoulder fade. Davante
Chicago
Adams
is
comes back
challenging
to
the
it.
ruling on the
Impossible
field
to defend.
of a catch.
A challenge by the Bears. Looks like a good catch to us. Mike Pereira in LA says the catch is good. Will Craig Rolstead say it when we come back? We'll find out.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Hyundai, an official sponsor of the NFL. By Burger King. Try our Oreo Red Velvet Shake. Now you can have your cake and drink it too. And by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. It is a catch. First down and goal, Green Bay.
One more challenge left for Chicago. They won't get an extra. They lose a timeout. And a nice catch by Davante Adams on the sideline.
Sure was. For him to locate the ball and come back and make the play, an outstanding job. And like I said, last year, big expectations. Aaron Rodgers really likes him. He's had a great camp. He can play in all the different positions. He's going to be making a lot of those plays this year.
First and goal inside Lacy. Down near the 1. Christian Jones on the stop. Second and goal.
Good concept. Design middle screen there to your tailback, and if I get so locked in on the wide receivers, got that ball down to the 1-yard line.
Lacey's a big back. He looks a little bit bigger than he did a year ago.
What are you saying?
And he hit the buffet. Second and goal. Pass caught. Touchdown Jones again. James Jones is back, and he is making a statement here today in Chicago. Packers back on top.
Well, you're going to see that Richard Rodgers comes to the flat. You got the slant in behind it. Pretty basic concept. They run this play at Pop Warner, and James Jones gets to the inside. You can see the defensive back. He starts inside. It's just really poor coverage by Alan Ball. We've seen him beat a couple of times today when he's had good coverage. He had inside technique trying to take the slant away, and he just gets fooled. Should never have given up the inside route, but he does. And an excellent job by the Packers coming away with a touchdown.
Special teams a problem a year ago. Now the Packers up by 4. It started with a good kick return by the rookie Ty Montgomery. Devontae Adams along the sideline. 1 knee equals 2 feet. And then another for James Jones. Welcome back to the pack. 6-play, 59-yard drive covering over 3 minutes on the clock. Mariani going to bring it out. Can't get to the 20. The notorious Conor McGregor is back and is taking over an all-new season of The Ultimate Fighter.
They call me an instigator. What the? A troublemaker. A wild card and a rebel. Down there, spark like a... So don't miss an all-new Ultimate Fighter Wednesdays only on FS1.
He's the new hit guy and fun to watch.
That was very good on your part.
Thank you, my friend. Been watching a lot of Ray Donovan. Well, how do the Bears answer? Down by 4. Forte. Flag flies.
Holding. Defense, number 90. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. Replay, first down.
That's B.J. Raji, who is back. Guilty of a hold.
B.J. Raji, and he's just trying to keep offensive lineman Will Montgomery from getting up to the linebacker level. Initially, I'm looking to see, I didn't see anything along the offensive line, but they get B.J. Raji, and so once again, the Chicago Bears are ahead in the chains.
Handoff is to Forte. And on first down, he picks up 2. Sam Barrington is out with the ankle injury. Nate Palmer, we saw get that shot to his shoulder. They do have a rookie, the Packers, Jake Ryan, a 4th-round pick out of Michigan. He's not out there at the moment. But they can move Clay Matthews inside, and they have more bodies that can rush from the outside, personnel-wise, for Green Bay. 2nd and 8. Forte swallowed up. Play made by Mike Neal, and a loss of 1.
Well, last year we know they moved Clay Matthews to the inside. He still obviously is a rusher in some of their packages off the edge, but they wanted to be able to play the run better, and he gives them a real presence in the middle. And this time he hits it going downhill, and he's able to stop Matt Forte before he gets going. And like I said, the Packers have committed to stopping the run. They just didn't do a real good job of it there in that first half.
Focus, focus. Line.
Eddie Royal back out there for Chicago. 3rd down and 9. In trouble is Cutler. Shovels it to Bennett. Bennett's got a first down. Went right around Sean Richardson and picks up 12.
This must be a new thing with these quarterbacks. These flip passes, because we've seen Aaron Rodgers do it twice, and Jay Cutler keeps the play alive and finds Bennett for another conversion on third down.
Regular. 52. Me. Hey!
Forte cuts upfield. Matt Forte into Green Bay territory inside the 45. Brought down by Micah Hyde, a gain of 20.
It's an excellent job up front by this offensive line, and they have been an impressive group here in this ball game. Kyle Long at right tackle. They're able to kick out Clay Matthews. The blocking down the field by Alshon Jeffrey. Nice gain then for Forte.
Well over 130 yards on the day is Forte on the ground. 130 for the touchdown. Here's Rodgers. And the little guy, Jaquiz Rodgers, brought down by Clinton-Dix, a gain of 5.
And really nothing new for Matt Forte and the Bears. I mean, the last 4 games against the Packers, he's averaged over 100 yards rushing. No surprise coming into this game, what the Bears were going to try to do with him.
Here's Rodgers to the 35. Third and manageable coming up for Chicago, and they've been in that position quite a bit today. It'll be third down and 3.
And that's why they've been so good, over 70% conversion on third down.
This has got the feel of a big play here for Chicago, trying to convert here on third down and 3. Trying to keep this drive alive. On the edge of field goal range. Can they convert? They can. Alshon Jeffrey with a first down inside the 25. Working on Sam Shields.
Jay Cutler knows he has one-on-one with Alshon Jeffrey. It's just a matter of him running the route and then him making a good throw. And you see Sam Shields is one in coverage. Out to the sideline, and I mean, there's no disguising what the Packers have been trying to do. It's one-on-one outside. They're trying to play the run. They've not been able to do that. And then Cutler has the looks that he wants when he wants to take him in the passing game.
Sam!
On first down, underneath, that catch not made, and a flag is thrown. Martellus Bennett got a hit from Micah Hyde, but a flag comes in.
Holding. Offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
It's the left guard, Matt Slauson.
Yeah, Julius Peppers, he lines up inside, and that's what Adam Gase was talking about in terms of Matt Slauson, is when he works against quicker people, sometimes he can struggle, and Julius Peppers, one of those guys, and normally doesn't line up in the middle like he does, but does from time to time, and he was able to get inside and create the hole.
There's really 2 guys you have to locate. Julius Peppers, 56, and obviously Clay Matthews, 52.
52.
Move all over. First and 20.
52, Lions! 180!
Here's Forte again. Nowhere to go. Well played, strung out defensively here on the left side of the defense, and Peppers is in there to make yet another stop. They were shocked, pleasantly shocked, in Green Bay last year with the year Julius Peppers had. He had 7 sacks, 2 interceptions that led to 2 touchdowns. Dom Capers couldn't have dreamed to get all that. If they get it again from Peppers here in 2015, that's a big piece.
Yeah, he's like 35 years old, and McCarthy said he's drinking from the fountain of youth. And the guy doesn't show any signs of aging and is the player that they saw when he came in last year.
Try and put it up, 2nd and 18. Forte can't bring it down. Had it for a moment and well covered downfield by the rookie Randall. Marius Randall was there, a little bit underthrown, incomplete.
And we've seen at times, you know, when Matt Forte has split out, when he's put more in the slot position, they put a linebacker on him. This time they put the first-round pick to Marius Randall. The Cowboys, or the Bears, unable to connect. And the hit on Cutler there in the pocket at the end of that play.
Well, let's see how much of this yardage they try and bite off. They're going to run it with Rodgers, and he will spin to the 26. Which means you're talking about a 44-yard try from Robbie Gould to close it down to a one-point game. Clay Matthews made the stop for Green Bay.
Well, I don't know that Bears fans were real happy about that call, but I think it was a good one by Adam Gase. When you're looking at 3rd and long, the likelihood of converting that isn't very good, and so try to get what you can on that 3rd down play to help out your kicker.
44-yard try for Gould, who hit from 50 at the end of the first half for a short-lived 3-point lead. Able to just push it through. Played the fade, and it's 17-16 here at Soldier Field. A good one. Bears and Packers on Fox.
Today's game is sponsored by Verizon. Watch live local games with NFL Mobile, only on Verizon.
One-point game now here at Soldier Field. Robbie Gould is now officially 3 for 3. Had one taken off the board in the first half. Good from 44. Another long drive put together by Jay Cutler in this Bears offense. The rookie Montgomery. He's had a couple of good returns. This one is okay, crossing the 20. Good for 20 on the return. Barrow on the stop. Paging number 12. Paging number 12. He's been looking for number 89 all day. Back to work. The Green Bay offense. Beautiful day in Chicago. Good game. 1 point. Separating the Bears and the Packers, and now Green Bay back on offense. Aaron Rodgers has completed 9 straight.
Ready to go! Ready to go!
Lacy just keeps on plowing. Gets to the 30, just beyond, and let's go to Kurt Menefee with a game break.
Well, the Rams are turning it on against the Seahawks. Tavon Austin, who scored earlier on a run out of the backfield, takes a punt return 75 yards for a score. First Ram to do that in the game since 1961. They're up 24-13. Joe, Troy, and Aaron.
Ready to go!
All right, Kurt, thank you. Surprising score there is now Lacy is trying to find a first down. The flag is thrown. Close to picking it up, but we will get the call. It looks like it's against Green Bay.
Illegal formation, offense. Number 18 was covering up the tight end. It's a 5-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
It's one thing that the league is really looking hard at, and these teams have been warned, these offenses, that if you cover up the tight end, you're going to get called. And they had a 2nd and short, now they got a 2nd and long. And you know, as an offense and as a quarterback, when you're on the sidelines and your defense isn't really slowing anybody down, it puts a lot of pressure on you when you get the ball, because Aaron Rodgers knows the way this game has gone, there's not going to be a lot more possessions if their defense can't tighten things up.
Where do you go?
Just got it away as Lacy on 2nd and 7. He's 3 yards short.
And if the Packers had the ball more than they've had it, Aaron Rodgers he's only had 3 incompletions. And then Eddie Lacy, he's averaging over 6 yards a carry. I mean, these guys are doing a lot of good things. They just haven't had the ball.
Trying to keep it here on 3rd down and 3. Too much noise in the left tackle. Bakhtiari moved.
Ball start. Offense. Number 69. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Just 23 is David Bakhtiari in his 3rd year, and he's been one of the guys they've just stuck out at left tackle and forgotten about. He's that good. This offensive line is terrific. But that's now 8 penalties against Green Bay in this game.
Well, those guys missed a lot of time, too. David Bakhtiari being one of them in preseason. So as a group, they have not spent much time working together when they came in this game.
Third down and 8. Underneath, it's Cobb. He's got the first down and a well-designed play for a fresh set of downs for Green Bay.
Well, just really well designed, and Vic Fangio, he doesn't blitz a lot, but he brought it here, and the Packers were ready, and really the key block is Andrew Corliss on the outside, and the job that he does, securing the support defender and allowing Cobb to pick up the first down.
Got in the way of Antrell Roll. And Cobb, who is so good with a football in his hands, tough to find and bring down, got 10. Here's Lacy right side, cuts it up, spins to the 35. New this season, stream live local Sunday afternoon games right on your smartphone with NFL Mobile. Some crazy scores flying across the screen on this, the opening weekend of the NFL season, and now Eddie Lacy down on a knee, just working on his shoe on the sideline. Starks takes over.
You watch these safeties back here and the job that they do trying to disguise the looks, and so Aaron Rodgers are hopeful that he won't get a pre-snap read on where they're going to be once the ball is snapped.
On 2nd down, Rodgers chased from behind and is out of bounds with a positive play. Will Sutton was bearing down on him. 3rd down coming up. Under a minute and a half to go in the 3rd quarter.
Good coverage down the field, not giving Aaron Rodgers anywhere to go with the football. Safety help, played coverage. But when you do that, they know that Rodgers is awfully dangerous when he gets outside the pocket. He can throw it from any platform. That time just nobody was able to free up on the scramble drill.
Barely been hit just once. 3rd and 4. Rodgers steps through again. He's got a first down and more into Chicago territory as he slides to the 49.
They get man coverage. Aaron Rodgers had Devontae Adams on the slant route for the first down had he have wanted it, coming underneath. A well-designed play, but Rodgers saw that there was just nobody out in front, and because of that man coverage, nobody then accounts for the quarterback, and an easy pickup.
We got 12.
Ready, go!
Sideline as receiver Adams had fallen down. Working against Alan Ball, a veteran corner. You know, you think about the Chicago defense over the years. Lovie Smith was here for a long time. Then it was Mark Trestman, but you think about names like Urlacher, Lance Briggs, Charles Tillman, Tim Jennings, who was just cut during the preseason this year. It's a complete changeover. Jared Allen is still here. New system, new coordinator, 3-4 instead of a 4-3, and a pretty good showing here today.
Hey, Rascal!
Owen!
Ready,
2nd and 10, it starts right side, tripped as he ran into the guard, TJ Lang. Third down coming up.
You know, you name those guys, Joe. This is a team, really, especially a defense that got old. You know, with those guys that you mentioned, Ryan Pace took over as a general manager, and it is his mission to get this team a lot younger, and he's on the path of doing that.
Good game. Fourth quarter coming up. Green Bay with a football. Third and long when we come back as they lead by 1 back after this from your local Fox station. Haven't been a lot of possessions for Mike McCarthy's offense, but they've scored on 3 of their last 4. They need a conversion here on third down and 11 to keep this drive alive. Up by 1 as we start the fourth quarter.
Well, neither one of these defenses have been very good on third down.
Underneath it's Cobb, looking for a block. Forced out of bounds, short of the first down by a yard. Adrian Amos came up and made the stop. And we'll see what Mike McCarthy wants to do here on fourth down and 1 with the ball just inside the 40. He's going to go.
I'm not surprised by this at all, and they tried on third and long, the same play that they'd thrown to Cobb to convert the previous third down. A nice gain, but based on where they are on the field, this is a no-brainer.
Starks out there, Lacy on the sideline. It's Starks. First down and a big conversion for the Packers. They can trust this offensive line. There's only 1 first-rounder up there, Brian Bulaga, but they do such a good job in the middle rounds drafting and signing free agents.
You see Josh sitting there, left guard, does an outstanding job. He's an all-pro offensive lineman for this group. A guy last year who played through a severe toe injury all year long, did not miss a game. Has been hampered by an ankle injury this preseason, and he's one of the best in the game today.
Ready to go. Ready to go.
Rodgers out to his left. Down the sideline with another first down. And dragged down from behind as he pops up looking back at Ego Ferguson.
Well, you see what happens, and you get the rush up the field. Bakhtiari does a good job of running Jared Allen up the field, but Josh Sitton is so secure in the middle that it opens up that lane. And Aaron Rodgers is as good as there is in the game at pocket presence, and when he steps up and he's able to get underneath that outside pass rush like he did there, boy, it really puts that defense in a bind. And because he can run, he doesn't always have to throw it to get good yardage out of the play.
Ready to go.
Lacy back in there and he gets it. Burnell McPhee trying to rip it out. Almost able to. McClellan in on the stop as well, a gain of 2.
Things got bottled up there for Eddie Lacy, and you're right. I mean, if you're going to stay up in a pile and not go anywhere, guys are tearing at that ball, and a good job of hanging on to it by Eddie Lacy.
Play number 13 of the drive.
Now leave it on. Rascal. Hey, fine now. Rascal. 18.
On second and 8. To the 16-yard line. Third down coming up.
The Green Bay Packers are doing to Jay Cutler what the Bears offense had been doing to Aaron Rodgers throughout this game, just keeping him on the sideline. Just a time-consuming drive here by the Green Bay Packers.
Third down and 4.
Ready to go. Hey, we gotta go. Ready to go.
Hand off to Lacy. And Lacy is able to pick it up. You can see the forward progress is good enough for a first down according to the line, and Shea McClellan is in there for the stop, but not in time.
Well, you're going to see the Bears, they play coverage here with the safeties deep, and so you've got a good matchup inside to run the ball, even though it's a long down situation for most running plays, but the pass.
It's just a reminder, Troy, with what Aaron Rodgers is able to do here today. He has run the ball 6 times for 34 yards. He's bought time. What he didn't have in his arsenal when we last saw him in the NFC Championship game in Seattle when he was playing with that tear in his calf.
Yeah, and you think about the respect that he has around the league, and even amongst us that follow the game, you lose your number 1 receiver, and I know I still expect this team to be in the hunt. They were my preseason Super Bowl pick even after Jordy Nelson goes down, and it's all because of him. They got good players around him, but it's a real compliment to the respect that he has earned as a 2-time MVP.
And really well coached. Play clock is almost expired. Penalty flag, free play, end zone. Incomplete, no other flag, but it looked like the Bears came across early, and they did.
Offside. Defense, number 69. 5-yard penalty. Replay. Second down.
It's Jared Allen. After that previous play, there's Aaron Rodgers and John Fox going face to face.
Well, Aaron has gotten to a place where you come into the league and you're young, you're trying to learn what a defense is all about, and you're learning your system, and then as you learn those things, a lot of times your body's kind of getting away from you, when you're getting older, and he's in that sweet spot right now where he's got such a command of this offense, and his abilities are still at the peak of his career, and he sure is enjoyable to watch play the game.
31 years old, 11th year in the league. A starter since 08. The timeout taken. Play clock was expiring yet again. 2nd and 5 when we come back. Each side 2 timeouts left in this second half. It's been a great partnership between Microsoft and the NFL. The Microsoft Surface tablets, which are getting better and better and more tailored to what an NFL player needs on the sideline. You would have loved to have that device back in your day.
There were still Polaroids when I was playing. They've come a long way. Some of those coaches carry them around with them the entire game.
2nd down and 5.
50, turn.
There's a generation that doesn't know what a Polaroid is.
Here's one into the back of the end zone and caught by Cobb for the touchdown. Penalty flag, but that looked like it was against the defense in McManus, and what a catch by number 18.
Yeah, they run the wheel route, man-to-man coverage, and you see the contact right there by McManus, and an excellent throw. Aaron Rodgers lays that perfectly to the corner, and Randall, they work on that endless in practice. You know exactly where the ball is going to be. It's your job as a receiver to get to that point, and Cobb does, even though there's contact. And it's an excellent job between those two.
He led the NFL last year, Randall Cobb, with 10 red zone touchdown receptions. He's got one here. Aaron Rodgers, 3 touchdown passes, only 4 incompletions all day. What a beautiful throw from the best in the game. And it's an 8-point game here at Soldier Field, still a 1-score game for John Fox and his Bears, down 8.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by AT&T, mobilizing your world. By Furious 7, one crew, one last ride on Blu-ray and DVD September 15th. And by Modelo Especial, discover the Especial.
Our thanks to our friends at Chicago Line Cruises for allowing the camera on the boats and those great looks. Downtown Chicago, this city has been buzzing. They are happy about the start of the football season and thrilled with the play of the Chicago Cubs, as they should be. Terrific this year, and it's only bigger and better as we go forward. Welcoming you inside our broadcast booth, I'm Joe Buck with Troy Aikman, Aaron Andrews down on the field, and here are the Green Bay Packers in a position now up by 8, and even more pressure on Jay Cutler and the Bears to try and answer here.
Yeah, but I think this is what John Fox was hoping for. Yes, it is an 8-point game, but it's still a 1-possession game. And I think if you had told him on Friday and coming into this game that, hey, with 10 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, it's a 1-possession game with a chance to to still win, he would take that. And so this offense has done a good job of running the football. Jay Cutler's numbers aren't great, but he's been outstanding on third down, and that's why they've kept the ball as long as they have.
Cutler is able to stay upright, and a nice slide for a first down. Jay Cutler has done that quite a few times here today. He picks up 11 after going around Mike Neal.
Alshon Jeffrey, he's attracted some attention. He's got Sam Shields and Clinton Dix on him, and with the pressure from the outside, Jay Cutler, and we've seen awfully consistent quarterback play, here in this ball game, and some of the athleticism by these two guys.
Here's Forte.
Let's go!
With that, we will send it to Kurt Menefee with the game break. Kurt.
Well, one of the big offseason trades brought Jimmy Graham to Seattle, and this is one of the reasons why. Down in the red zone, Russell Wilson hooks up with him. 7-yard score proved them within a field goal midway through the fourth at St. Louis. Joe Troy Darren.
Yeah, good game there, and that surprised everybody, I think, Jimmy Graham ending up in Seattle. I know it surprised Drew Brees, who we met with during the preseason.
It probably surprised Russell Wilson, too, but he was sure happy about it.
2nd and 7. Cutler was looking for Forte and now throws behind Jeffrey. The Bears have had 5 possessions today. 4 of them have been at least 11 plays and ended with points. Now they're in a position down by 8, 9 minutes to play and faced with a big 3rd down and 7.
3rd down and 7. It is hard to consistently sustain drives throughout the entire ball game. At times you want to be able to pick up some chunks, but they've been good on this down. They're hoping to be able to convert another one and keep this drive alive.
Cutler fires and pass caught. That's Wilson, and Marquise Wilson is down inside the 20. And a big play on 3rd and 7 for Chicago. $50 yards to Marquise Wilson.
That was Sam Shields. He doesn't make the play. As you see, Wilson, he comes out of the route. Cutler bought a little time in the middle of the pocket, steps up, and then once Wilson makes the catch, Sam Shields just unable to stay on him and make the tackle, and nobody else was there to make a play. So a huge gain on 3rd and long.
Marquise Wilson's been bothered by a bad hamstring. Cutler loves him if he could just stay healthy. Big play. Pass is caught. Defender fell down. That's Jeffrey out of bounds. Inside the 10. Shields fell down. And depending on the spot, he ends up with 11, 1st and goal.
Well, Sam Shields, their best corner, and he's had himself a tough afternoon. Had a couple penalties that have been very costly for this football team, and he's now missed on a few plays in coverage.
From the 6, underneath, pass caught, Forte. 2nd and goal coming up.
Well, the Bears have gotten down here a few times, and they've just come away with the 1 touchdown. The way the Packers have moved the football, the Bears know what they've got to do down here.
Running a play from the 2. If they score a touchdown, they'll do it again. This one is nearly picked off. And there were a lot of bodies out there to the right of Jay Cutler. Now 3rd and goal.
Well, that was a dangerous throw right there by Jay Cutler. He had a defender coming off the edge, and really fortunate that ball wasn't turned over.
Eddie Royal was the intended target. He got held up.
Casey Hayward, 29, was the one who looked like he could have gotten a hand on it, maybe intercepted it himself.
Now 3rd and goal. Low snap. Cutler. Incomplete. Looking for a flag as Jeffrey won't get it. the fortunes of the Chicago Bears at the moment is going to come down to a 4th down play.
There's definitely contact.
That's the rookie, Demarius Randall. I see why Jeffrey got up looking for a flag.
Yeah, they were engaged pretty much throughout that route, and they got down in here. They've been handing the ball to Forte, even with extra guys in the box, and they've had success throughout this game, but a lot of passes down here consecutively.
4th down.
Let's go. 51.
Packers bringing people. Cutler throws it up and overshoots Royal, incomplete. And the defense able to hold it for the Green Bay Packers, turning it over on downs, the Chicago Bears. The Packers bring a blitz. No time for Cutler. Packers take over up 8. Troy, the Bears got the big play, the 50-yarder to Marquise Wilson on 3rd down and 7. Got it down there, 1st and goal at the 6, and then what happened?
Yeah, well, they decided to not give the ball to Forte running the ball. 2nd down and goal from the 2, and three straight throws. A little surprised by that. They hadn't done that all day.
Here's Adams. Got a block. And then swarm tackling by the Bears. A gain of 6.
Go back and take a look. This is the 4th down play here where the Packers, they bring pressure and, force Cutler to get the ball out of his hands a lot sooner than he had wanted. Eddie Royal actually runs a good route. Had Cutler been able to set his feet and drive the ball low and away, Royal has a chance to get it, but he had to turn it loose a lot sooner than he wanted.
Sean Richardson got free, wasn't touched, coming on a blitz. That's what thwarted that play. Now on 2nd down, it's Lacy bouncing it. And Eddie Lacy, good play out there on the edge. And that was made by Alan Ball. So now a big 3rd down here for the Bears defense and this Green Bay offense.
Yeah, big 3rd down. Like I said, neither defense has been particularly good stopping the opponent on 3rd down. It's a big one, though, for the Chicago Bears to try to give the ball back to their offense and give them another crack at it.
Packers are 6 for 9 on 3rd down. The Bears 10 for 15. 3rd and 3.
Don't count out Eddie Lacy down here at the bottom of the screen.
Looking left, now to the middle. Now dancing is Rodgers. Sideline incomplete. And good work defensively by Chicago at 3 and out. Eddie Lacy was the target, defended by Christian Jones.
Well, John Fox, he hit bet on it on 4th down. They're down 8 points, and how many more opportunities are you going to get offensively? He goes for it, and then hopeful if they don't make it, they're able to make a stop defensively, and the defense rose to the occasion and forces a 3 and out.
It's only the 2nd Green Bay punt. It's the 2nd 3 and out, and the 1st since the 1st series that the Packers had at the start of this game. Masted, he needs a good one. Or a line drive, Mariani from just on the Bears side of midfield. And great starting field position, down by 8 for Chicago. Over 6 to go. Jay Cutler, number 6, back to the field.
Today's game is sponsored by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online. Sign up now.
Mark Mariani down at the 41. That's where Cutler and the offense takes over, down 8. Now they go back to Forte. Inside the 35 and a nice gain on 1st down of 8. B.J. Raji on the tackle.
The Packers, their run fits has just not been very good, and haven't been able to get Forte on the ground even when they've had defenses called that pretty advantageous for them. Forte's run hard, and he's gotten a lot out of these plays when he's had the chance to run the ball.
23 carries, 141 yards. Averaging over 6 a carry is Forte.
False start, offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty, 2nd out.
Vladimir Dukas.
I'll tell you, Joe, no matter what happens in this ball game, the Packers are going to have a lot to work on when it comes to run defense. Next week they play Seattle. They're going to see a lot of Marshawn Lynch. And they have not been good in that category here in this game.
Seattle has taken a 7-point lead late in St. Louis.
Push him. 52's my team.
Blitz. Toss to Forte. Brought down from behind. Clinton Dix, 3rd and 7 coming up. Remember, this Packers defense started the day without Morgan Burnett, who's coming off his best year out with a bad calf. Micah Hyde got the start. 3rd and 7.
28. Go 28. 28. Right.
Cutler. Pass is caught. Bennett, first down. And another conversion on 3rd down and 7 for this Bears offense.
Yeah, Martellus Bennett, he just tries to put the defender on his back. It was Clinton Dix, and Clinton Dix had good coverage on it. Looked like he might have been able to get a hand on this ball, but is unable to in another 3rd down conversion.
So first down at the 29. Pass is picked off. It's Matthews. Stepped in front of Bennett. And Clay Matthews going to show off his return skills. Brought down by Bushrod, and a flag comes down at the end. But it's yet another game with a Jay Cutler interception thrown against the Green Bay Packers defense.
After the interception and during the return, illegal block in the back. Intercepting team number 53.
Clay Matthews
it's a 10-yard
comes
penalty
over
from the spot of the foul. Green Bay keeps the ball, first down.
They release Martellus Bennett. Jay Cutler thinks he's got a straight throw to Martellus Bennett without any coverage, and Clay Matthews, who lined up off. It's Clay Matthews, and Cutler just was not anticipating that happening. Never saw Matthews.
Matthews makes a great play in the pickoff, the interception, and that's now, Troy, 13 games for Jay Cutler against Green Bay, and he's thrown 23 interceptions to the Packers. It happens again. So the defense for the Packers makes a play, and up by 8. We see the ground game for Green Bay. It's Lacy. And a good play made by Eddie Goldman. First one in, pickup of just 1.
Well, the Bears now with 2 timeouts remaining. They're going to have to try to do what they did on the previous possession, and that is force a 3 and out and leave some time for this offense. But you're right, Joe. The Bears convert there on the 3rd down to Martellus Bennett. And it was Sean Richardson in coverage, not Clinton Dix, and Clay Matthews comes up with the big play. You know, he's been doing that for a long time.
Penalty flag on the play. Cobb incomplete. And it's against Chicago for an offside. That was a free play. Willie Young coming off an Achilles tear. Coming off a 10-sack season, was out there on that play, and they discuss it with Craig Rolstad, our referee. The indication is offside Chicago.
Offside defense, number 97. 5-yard penalty, replay, 2nd down.
A little bit like what happened earlier in the game. Here's a route by Cobb, but knowing you got a free play, you take the shot down the field. Aaron Rodgers threw this about 55 yards without even stepping into the throw because he knew he had the defense offsides. You talk about a competitive son of a gun.
So much fun to cover, so much fun to watch, and here he is in a position to start 1-0. This is a Green Bay team that started 1-2 each of the last 3 seasons. You mentioned they have their hands full next week at home against Seattle, at home against Kansas City, then at San Francisco. We'll be there in Santa Clara for that one.
in week 4. Yeah, if they're able to hang on to this one would feel good. They hadn't been 1-0 in a long time, especially to start the year against a divisional opponent.
Lacey is flipped with a first down, brought down by McClellan, and the guy who's done it to him has been the guy in the booth right now for the Bears, Vic Fangio, with a couple of season openers against the Green Bay Packers and a couple of playoff games. 4-0 his last 4 tries against Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, but they have some work to do here defensively. I think all in all, there have been some bright spots here for the Chicago defense.
Sure, they can definitely build on this. And Vic Fangio, as we know, he had a different group with San Francisco, and in those games, Aaron Rodgers, he didn't necessarily have his number. Rodgers put up some good numbers and played well in those games against the 49ers.
On first down, it's Lacey, good for a half yard. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning or a timeout taken. It will be. One of 2 remaining for Chicago. 1 timeout left for the Bears. They're in trouble now. 2:07 left. Packers with the ball up 8. Has caught. Touchdown Jones again. James Jones is back. They'll be writing a lot about James Jones. Released twice. First by Oakland after his 73-catch season. 6 touchdowns. A guy who had 14 touchdown catches in 2012 to lead the league with Green Bay. Then he's cut by the New York Giants, and he's not only made big plays here, but spectacular catches for his 2 touchdowns.
It's just hard for me to believe there wasn't a spot on either one of those teams for James Jones, but there is here in Green Bay.
Rodgers keeps it, airs it out. Jones again. A lot of contact, flags are thrown, and Jones had a shot at touchdown number 3, but it's Kyle Fuller with interference.
Pass interference. Defense number 23. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul, automatic first down.
So close to yet another score for number 89. 2-minute warning in Soldier Field. Pack in great position week 1. Week 1 continues later today on CBS, then tonight. Sunday Night Football on NBC. A lot of eyes will be on the Giants and the Cowboys. And tune in tomorrow for a Monday Night Football doubleheader on ESPN. The Eagles and the Falcons, and then the game out west. First and goal. Eddie Lacy is into the end zone for the touchdown. And the Packers are now even closer to that 1-0 start with a divisional win here in Chicago. Jones a huge part of it as Lacy plows through to add to the lead. And Troy, since 2009, Mike McCarthy's Packers are about to go to 28-8-1 in the division. You dominate your division, you put yourself in a good spot, and that's what they've done.
They really have. It's a great way to start the year. You know, a lot of expectations for this team. Last year ended in disappointment. A lot of these guys have returned, and to come on the road in a divisional game and win like they will here today is a great way to begin the year.
Penalty flags, but the extra point will count. 31-16.
There's no foul for defensive illegal formation. The kick is good.
And so this one is wrapping up. 15-point game now here in Chicago. And welcome inside our broadcast booth, Joe Buck, along with the Hall of Famer Troy Aikman. And we know what the outcome's going to be here. Green Bay will start 1-0. Chicago will start 0-1. We started in on Philadelphia. The game action kind of took us away from it. That's a team that's got your eye here early.
Well, a lot of changes. I think this is a big year for Chip Kelly. I don't know if there's pressure on him necessarily, but when you take over control of personnel and you make the changes that he's made, that raises the bar. You know, even if some of these guys are young players, but they sure look good in preseason. Hey, I've said it. You know, I'll say it again. I think if Sam Bradford stays healthy, that's a big if. I think he'll be in the discussion, you know, for MVP. It says really what I think of this offense that they have. So I do like the Eagles. I like some of the teams that we've seen over the last several years, this Packer team being certainly one of them in Seattle. And I think the Cowboys are poised for another great year too. So some great competition within the NFC.
Meanwhile, the guy that was traded for Sam Bradford, Nick Foles, couple of years ago, had 27 touchdowns and just 2 interceptions for Philadelphia and Chip Kelly. He's taken the Rams down the field, and they've now tied Seattle toward the end of regulation in St. Louis. Good game there. Here's Rodgers on the return, and Jaquiz brought down to the 28 by Jake Ryan, the rookie linebacker from Michigan. So we talked about Green Bay and what they have in front of them. Not an easy start here for Jay Cutler and the new regime with the Bears at home against Arizona, at Seattle.
Yeah, what did John Fox say when we talked to him on Friday? He said the schedule hadn't been released when he accepted the head coaching position in Chicago. Had it have been, said I may have reconsidered the job, because it is a brutal opening. But hey, they knew this was going to be a tough game, as you said, against the Packers team that has dominated the division and really dominated them. But I think Ryan Pace is him and John Fox and this staff. They'll get things going. There's a lot to build on from this ball game here today.
Here's Jeffrey. Bad calf and all, he's still out there. And good for 17 yards. Let's say this about Jay Cutler. He did throw the interception to Clay Matthews. Matthews, the big defensive player and the star for Green Bay, making the big play. Here's a beautiful catch by Jeffrey for another first down. Penalty flags at the end. Cutler's been kind of a columnist dream here in Chicago, in the newspapers and online. Let's get the call first.
At the end of the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 28. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. Automatic first down.
Get Sean Richardson. And if the Bears can get a quick score here and then get an onside kick, who knows?
Hey, we were in Seattle. Yeah, we saw what happened there.
That's right. And the Packers were part of that too.
Yes, they were. And so
Quick, Fleming!
it didn't look good, but hey, you never know when it comes to this Packers team.
Well, it was all laughs and celebrations a moment ago for Green Bay. All of a sudden, they're at the 26. The Bears are with a first down. Play action, Cutler, end zone, incomplete. What I was going to say is, you can almost know what the articles are going to be tomorrow about Chicago and the Bears, and you know they hung in there for a while, but at the end of the day, it's the same old Jay Cutler, it's the same old Bears. Cutler throws a big interception. It just doesn't feel like the same Jay Cutler. It doesn't feel like the same old Bears to me from what we've witnessed here today.
Well, they played better than I expected coming into this game, Joe, because of all the changes. And like I said, the receivers that were banged up, Alshon Jeffrey gave them more in this game than I expected as well.
Cutler is in trouble, drops it off, caught, now dropped by Martellus Bennett. Looked like he had it for a moment. Incomplete. And there was pressure by Peppers. 3rd and 10 coming up.
But this is going to take some time. You know, this is a team that has been struggling. When you look at the last several years, the team did get old. They didn't draft particularly well, and they've got to get it going in the right direction. And you know, when you're struggling and you're an old roster, that's not a good combination. But you know, how long does Cutler have? How long does John Fox have? Is he in it for the long haul? There's a lot to look at. But
there's Forte, and he is wrestled down immediately by Shields. 4th down.
I think essentially, Joe, you know, even Forte, you know, you said he's in his last year of his contract. He's going to be 30 years old next year, and there's an evaluation. There's no rush for Ryan Pace, the general manager, to make decisions on anybody. Everyone's being evaluated and evaluated with great scrutiny to see who's going to be a part of this moving forward.
Cutler has the first down. Bennett going to go into the end zone for the touchdown. And this one's not over yet. Went around Clinton Dix, who was a guy involved in that crazy 2-point conversion last year at Seattle in the NFC Championship game.
You see after the play here, Martellus Bennett, he just runs an out route, and you can see exactly who that was that came up, but he goes low on him. It was Clinton Dix who comes up, and he's known as a big hitter. He just dives at Martellus Bennett's legs, and you're not going to get Martellus Bennett down like that. He's a big man, so that was not good effort there by Clinton Dix.
Just to make it a 1-score game, to make it an 8-point game, 34 seconds left. Chicago still with 1 timeout. But just to finish, when you're Jay Cutler, and you're a high-dollar quarterback, and you've had just 2 winning seasons. He's in his 7th year here in Chicago, and you've only gone to the playoffs 1 time. The one time they did is when he suffered the knee injury in the NFC Champ game here in 2010. You can see it from the other side, but I'm with you. I think from Ryan Pace on down, the young general manager, to the guys in charge now on the field, they seem to be in the best position here in Chicago than they've been in quite a few years.
Yeah, I agree. It certainly feels that way, you know, and I think that's really a credit to John Fox and the energy that he brings. The strength of this team is their coaching staff. But right now, Ron Zook, who you mentioned earlier, took over for Sean Slocum. They've all got to be puckered up a little bit over there on the sidelines. Knowing what happened last year in Seattle. I mean, come on.
I mean, onside kicks are usually very, let's say, less than dramatic. Bonus coverage coming up with the Seahawks and Rams if time permits. They're going to overtime in St. Louis, so interesting start there. Well, the last time the onside kick, obviously at Seattle, that did not end well. Let's see if they've learned. Into the air and recovered by Davante Adams. It was Brandon Bostic, no longer with the Green Bay Packers, who let it go right through his hands in that NFC Championship game. I believe it was Jordy Nelson right behind him when he went up for it.
Well, someone tell Ron Zook he can breathe now.
Yeah.
Every Packer was standing up on the sidelines over there watching this play. It had everybody's full attention.
But it's number 17, 2nd year, I think, budding star, Davante Adams, who is there for Ron Zook. Exhale, Ron. Packers on their way to a win. Next week, Fox NFL Sunday. We'll have the Fox NFL kickoff show at 11 a.m. Eastern. That was a fun show. Its debut today. And then Fox NFL Sunday leads us into doubleheader action. You see the games early and the big one late. America's game of the week. The Dallas Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles. As big as it can get, at least hype-wise, early in the season in week 2. Bonus coverage coming up with the Seahawks and the Rams if we get the chance. Only 1 timeout left for Chicago. And we'll see if the Bears want to use it. They do not. The Packers are 1-0. The Bears with a big effort here today, but under John Fox in his debut as the head coach of the Chicago Bears, they start 0-1. We'll take a break, come back, and wrap up our day and maybe get you to St. Louis for the Seahawks and the Rams. Who knows? You're going to have to stay with us. Packers continue their dominance over Chicago.